Hello everyone, Ben here, and we are on the grid at the Nurburgring in the F4, waiting for 5 red lights, and we will be underway starting from 8th place on the grid, so in the mid pack, which is not really where you want to be in the rookie servers, but we didn't have the best qualifying, and actually there's some really quick drivers at the front of this race. So our aim is to just try and make some places up in the race. I'm expecting it to be fairly chaotic down into the first corner, so I'm going to hug to the inside and just try and hit the apex as best I can. There's little bits of contact here and there, but by and large it's pretty clean so far. You can see cars up ahead jostling for the right line into this quite difficult early set of corners on the lap. There's a little bit of contact up ahead, and the Samsung liveried car just pings off to the left hand side slightly, but he keeps control of it. We've lost a position down our right hand side, and we're now running just about side by side. We've got a car on our inside, so we're going to give him a little bit of space. We get a bit of a tap from behind, which actually affects our suspension. We are running right side by side now with the car on our right hand side. We're going to come into the left hander, so we'll have the inside line, but he's going to just try and duck back in a little cut back move, but we cut that off. There's a tiny bit of contact, but nothing too serious, and we both keep going. So we've held 7th place off the start, and we're now going to just try and see if there's any more places to be gained as we come up the hill on this sprint layout of the Nurburgring for the first time into the chicane, nearly 3 abreast up ahead, but amazingly everybody manages to just about keep it together. There's another tiny bit of contact behind us, but we've managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction as we come into the final corner for the first time, and a car up ahead of us loses it, crashes into the barrier. We just about move around the outside, but then we lose it and we get nudged around from behind just as we were saving the spin, and that is going to put us basically back to last place, pretty well on track as we managed to recover the car, and we've lost another bit of suspension damage there. So this is going to be a really challenging session from here on in. It was an unfortunate episode, really. I thought we got round the guy who lost it at the final corner, but I was just unsettled. Probably got on the gas a little bit too soon trying to keep pace with the car up ahead. Lost the back end, and then we were tagged around. We'll go back and take a proper look at that in a moment, but we're now just focusing on trying to catch back up to the cars ahead. And there's a yellow flag out, some smoke there with the car off to the left hand side, and then as we come around the corner 2 more cars are in the barriers, so we've immediately made up 3 spots and we're up into 11th place. So hopefully all is not lost so far if other cars can make some mistakes and we can get some consistency. But let's just take a look back then at that opening lap. We're in the red Evo Sport liveried car there. There's a little bit of contact, as you can see. Car goes off to the right hand side, so already other drivers having difficulty keeping this F4 car on track. You can see there as we come into the right hander, we're running side by side. This is great racing, in fairness. I mean, it's firm, but it's absolutely fair, and even though there's little bits of contact here and there, there's actually nothing too bad. Nobody's actually trying to take each other off here. We're just vying for position on a tight opening lap. We get a better run through that corner, as you can see multiple cars going off in the background already, and at this stage I'm thinking, well, maybe somebody else will make a mistake at the chicane, as you see cars weaving to just try and put each other off. We stick to the inside to just make sure that we don't get tagged by anybody making a lunge from behind. Here's the key episode really of the opening lap. You'll see the car go round up ahead. We managed to get around the outside, but as we switch camera view we just about get it wrong. We have it saved, and then we get nudged around and we are into the barrier. So we're rejoining now a little bit into the following lap, and we've just about caught up to the next pack of cars as we come into the left-hander and then try and get the best line as we can into the right-hander. We're still in 11th place, but we've got more places to make up here if we can just squeeze past the Samsung liveried car up ahead of us. We've definitely got better pace than they have. It's really going to be about just picking the right moment to make our move and get past. So we pull to the inside here. He's going to hang it around the outside, and we're just about halfway up alongside him, but we just pulled out slightly early to make sure that we didn't make contact. We do exactly the same again. We've got a car off to the left hand side, so they'll be running slow. We now swing to the inside for this swooping right-hander. That's going to turn to the outside for the chicane, but I'm confident that we've got better speed here as we've got a better exit from the corner, and we're going to get on the brakes late, much more confident than he is, and we're going to make that place up. Just as we come out of the chicane, the car up ahead loses it and is off to the right hand side. So we're now up into 9th place. We've made up another couple of spots there, but as you can see, other drivers really finding this F4 car difficult to handle, certainly towards the back end of the field. As I say, there's some really quick drivers up front who we probably wouldn't have got close to anyway. But let's just take a little look back at some of the incidents that have managed to kind of lift us up the positions. You can see there, cars running side by side and just knocking each other around at the same corner, really. Up on the curbs, you don't want to be up on the curbs in this F4 car, and you can see there what happens when you do. And again, virtually a carbon copy incident where a driver gets up on the curb, the car's unsettled, and he spins out. And then just very quickly, the move into the chicane that we made there on the Samsung liveried car. We're well alongside. We've got a better exit from that corner onto the back straight, and we're just going to trust that we're going to be better on the brakes, braver on the brakes into the chicane, and then we get a little bonus position as the yellow car up ahead spears off, probably with dirty tyres from having been off the track earlier on. Really then the kind of race was all about just trying to get some consistent laps together, but we couldn't really bridge the sort of 3-4 second gap to the cars up ahead. So I really expected at this point that I was going to be finishing in 8th place, but actually as we come round now to the end of this lap, you can see there is an incident just up ahead as a car has gone wide and is now actually just rejoining from having been beached in the gravel. That is actually the car that was running in 6th place, so we're now up into 7th, and we've got a reasonable gap to him now behind. So that is an extra spot gained that I perhaps at this stage of the race wasn't really expecting to. So hopefully now we're going to be able to hold him behind, because we were running pretty similar pace. The gaps were fairly static through the majority of the middle section of this race, and I'm really now just hoping that there's a mistake from the guy who's running in 6th to maybe try and get us up into the top 6 for the finish. We run slightly wide there, we get up on that curb that we've seen many drivers make a mistake on, and we just about get away with that, thankfully, as we come now into the right-hander. Already though, because of that little bit of scrappiness, the driver who's recovering, having made that accident, has already caught up to our rear wing, and so he's going to be in our tow as we come onto the back straight. We get a little bit leery into the right-hander there as well, so not the best exit. We should have this covered off into the chicane. He's a little bit far back, I think, to be going for a move into the chicane, but he'll be looking to just keep it neat and tidy, and probably thinking about T1 of the next lap if he can keep a good distance behind us and perhaps make up some time through this final corner. You can see he has closed in a little bit further now, so I'm feeling the pressure a little bit. We get a little bit too tight in the final corner there coming onto the home straight to cross the start finish line once again, and he is definitely in our draft now. In fact, he's gaining all the time now down this straight. He's certainly going to look for a move. I make a call at this point that I'm going to let him go for it and hope that he gets deep on the brakes, which he does. It's a very wide T1, so there's multiple lines through, and we are able to duck back underneath him with the switchback move and hold on to the place. He gets slightly wild behind us there. You could see in my rear view mirror he caught the curb as well and just about held another spin. All the while we have made up a few tenths on the driver ahead, so there was a chance at this point that we might just about keep pace with him. Let's have a little look back at the incident that put that driver behind us. As you can see, he just lost it coming through the final corner, and unfortunately it was straight into a gravel trap, so you'll see us now come past because it just took him so long to get back onto the track. One lap later he makes the move down our inside, but he gets too heavy on the brakes. He does well really to get the car slowed down at all, but we're able to quite straightforwardly really just scoot back up in his inside. So good racing there. Going to come welcome back now to the live action, and we are just heading on to our final lap now. We've managed to cut the gap to the car ahead down to 2 seconds, so we've taken a full second out of him in the last lap alone. The driver behind is still sort of closing the gaps bit by bit, but I'm pretty confident now of being able to hold him behind for the rest of this lap. He's going to be pushing like crazy, so he might make a mistake. But even if he doesn't, there's not really that many good passing opportunities. As long as I keep my car pointing in the right direction, then I'm pretty confident we'll be able to hold him behind. I say that just as we run over those curbs again and get a little bit fortunate to not unsettle the car. But then, just as I was saying that, he comes in too heavy into that right-hander. You're never really going to make a pass there, and he is definitely not going to get past us now because he's just essentially ruined his only chance of sticking close with us through this part of the track into the chicane. The car ahead of us there clearly ran a little bit wide as you saw some gravel being distributed onto the track. But again, a 2 second gap, unless he makes a really big mistake heading into the chicane or into the final corner, it looks as if we're going to be coming home in 7th place, which in all things considered, having been facing the wrong way at the end of lap 1, and with so many accidents and opportunities to get collected into other people's crashes, I'm reasonably content with that. I have to say I'm really enjoying the new F4 car. I haven't driven it very often. This was probably my 3rd race, 4th race perhaps in the car, but it's a lot of fun to drive, and the Nurburgring sprint track was really good fun to kind of wrestle the car around. So there you have it, confirmation of the winner and our 7th place finish. I hope you've enjoyed the race. If you have, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.